Good Friday morning to you. I hope you're having a great morning. I hope you're having a great week. Hope you got some weekend plans. We ain't got none. We did partying all last week, so this weekend is a work weekend for sure. I got a couple of things that might come down the pike, but it's cold out and I ain't going nowhere to melt today. Anyway, I hope you have a good I hope you've had a good week. You know what? February is almost over, y'all. The first is Wednesday. I got to get the rent together. This was a short month, right? It always is. It's the shortest one, right? Anyway, and so it's just it's cold out, but I can hold on to hope because I think this is the last one. Because after this, starting Sunday, actually, we have severe weather. So, like, we have super high risk of really bad weather on Sunday evening. So, but it's keep getting moved out, so I'm not too worried about it. So, I might be able to enjoy some outside time Sunday anyway and get Chris outside a little bit. Anyway, enough about all that. So this morning I was actually praying about some things, and like you, I've got a running list, or maybe you don't have a running list. I don't know. I got a running list with God. Okay, here's this problem, and I just continue to knock on the door of heaven, so to speak, and say, I don't know what to do with this. Please help me. Give me wisdom. I pray for wisdom. I don't just pray. Even well, I'm trying to raise money for Chris's wheelchair, so that's on my kind of prayer list. I missed 2 weeks of work and I had COVID because even though I worked from home, I was like, right? I was sick and taking care of Chris, and he was in the hospital, so I missed a little bit. So finances are always at the top of my list, especially right now, because I'm like, I missed like almost 2 weeks, and just it just set me behind. And I'm all right. My lights are on, everything's good, but it's a concern. And I don't just pray, oh God, please miraculously fill my account with money. I pray, show me how to organize my work so I can be more productive, right? Show me which clients to invest my time in order to get the best return. I want to serve my clients well and make the money too. So I don't just pray for God to pour money. I'm not looking for miracle money, just pour it into my account. Although that's a great idea, I think. But I pray for wisdom, and this is daily. I pray for my physical being. God, show me what to eat so that this body feels better so I can do all the things I need to do. I pray for Chris all the time, who's having another asthma attack, of course, you know, and I try not to stress out of it like you. I'm trying to find peace in that and go, okay, we've done this a million times. It's going to be okay. Just peace out, right? And so I got this running list, and I tend to turn my thoughts into prayers. But sometimes we don't see the answer when it comes. Or sometimes it doesn't come like we think it should and we miss it, right? Okay, prime example. This is a silly example, but last night Chris's tube got plugged up. So I was praying. I was like, God, do you do feeding tubes? It would be really great if you would do feeding tubes. And I don't want you to just necessarily. I don't need you to to change it for me, right? Although it'd be great if he just started eating. I actually made him eat last night, some too. But anyway, I was like, because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know when they're going to come. And so I was trying, do you do feeding tubes? Can you just get it unstuck for me? I know it's stuck. I know there's something stuck. And I tried everything. And it didn't unstuck. Here comes the nurses, and the RN was actually going to show the other lady how to change out a tube, and I didn't even have the right tube, but it was going to be okay for an emergency, and so I ordered more tubes, which was another financial question, right? Anyway, and so the nurse came and I piddled with it a little bit. I showed him what it was doing, and he piddled with it a little bit. It just came unstuck. Now that was not the way I wanted it to happen. I expected God to just unstick it while I was working with it, so I didn't have to call them in, use a whole visit, and all that, right? But the thing is, my prayer still got answered. It worked out, and that's a real simple, not super important example, right? But sometimes when it doesn't come the way we want it, or it doesn't come when we want it, or it doesn't come like we imagined it was going to come, we think God didn't answer. It was easy. I honestly caught myself because I thought, yeah, way to go, God. But then I was like, no, way to go, God. It worked. We didn't have to change his tube. I don't have to be without a tube because I only have one for an emergency that's not the right one, but it'll work, right? And so it worked out. And for a second, I was like, man. And then I was like, no, it worked out. So I began to be thankful then. Thank you, God, that it did work out. It wasn't like I thought. I had a great plan, God. He just doesn't listen sometimes, right? But it worked out. And so sometimes when we are praying, we already figured out for God how he can answer it. And then when it doesn't go that way, we feel like he didn't answer, but he did. We're here right now because of answered prayers. And things may not have worked out like we imagined. They may have not worked out like we thought. Definitely not like we planned. And I have some good ideas, and I share them with God all the time. God, this would be a great idea. And it never works out like I think it should. But God's smarter than me. He has more wisdom than me. And he look, everything always tends to work out like it should. Maybe not like our imagination had it, maybe not like we thought it was going to, but it works out. We are here, and God is still sustaining us. God is still upholding us. We still have his peace. We still have the relationship with him, right? It always works out. So I was thinking about some of these things as I was reading in Acts 12 today, and it says that was in prison for something he didn't do. I gotta hurry because I'm halfway done already with my time. So Peter had been put in prison. Now he was placed inside a second gate, had two guards placed on him, was chained to the wall, or chained to the guards, I think, with literally handcuffed to them. Basically, he was to two guards, and there were other guards in the other courts to make sure he didn't escape. The church was praying that he would get out. It says in I think it's verse 5, it says, while Peter was in prison, the church prayed very earnestly for him. They were praying for the dude, and he's in prison, and in the middle of the night, the guards are asleep, an angel of the Lord comes to Peter and goes, get up, and the chains fell off. And he thought it was a vision. He didn't know God was answering prayers. He thought, oh, this is really good. He said, get up, get dressed, put your sandals on, follow me. Now, Peter had a choice. Peter could have sat there going, this can't be happening, right? But the angel of God walked Peter out of the cell, and he just kept following him. He just kept thinking it was a vision. He didn't think it was really real. They passed the first guard. They passed the second guard. He's just literally walking out. They come to the iron gate at the street, and it just opened for them. And it was locked, you guys. It was a miracle. And then all of a sudden, he's on the outside. The angel's gone, and he's like, dude, that was real outside the prison. And so it said he thought for a minute, and then he went to Mary's house. Well, the funny thing is, they were gathered at Mary's house praying. And what did we say up in verse 5? They were praying for him. So he knocks on the door, and Rhoda comes to the door, and she goes back, and she goes, you guys, Peter's at the door. And they're like, oh, girl, you're crazy. You are just crazy. Yeah. Meaning, translated in our vernacular, God didn't answer our prayers yet. There's no way. We're praying for Peter, but you're seeing things. You've been praying too much because you're seeing things. And she's like, no, I'm serious. Peter, the dude we're praying for, is at the gate, is at the door. Finally, they went in, they brought him in. And so he comes in, and they had a wonderful time of prayer and fellowship, and then he goes on his way, and he gets out of the region. And then they wake up in the morning, and they go, where did Peter go? Got no clue. But the guards all died. They were sentenced to death by Herod because they failed to protect him. But they could. How do you protect something God is protecting, right? How do you keep it from God? And so the whole point is they had their answer, but they didn't even know it, right? And sometimes we have to, what did I title this? I don't even see it. I don't know. Anyway, sometimes we have to, we get a last resort. Sometimes we go to prayer as a last resort. We try to sort it all out. We try to figure it all out. We try to do all this, and then we go, okay, I don't know what to do, God. What if we took it to him first and then waited for him to answer? You see, they were praying for Peter, but it doesn't say they were praying for him to get out of prison. They were praying maybe God's protection. I don't know what they were praying, right? But they were praying for him. And then when the answer came, they didn't even realize it was real. Peter didn't even realize it for a minute. He thought, this is a cool vision. I'm just walking out of prison, right? Nobody saw the way God was going to work it all out. So I encourage you today to take everything to God in prayer. Don't wait for a last resort. And then let him work it out, right? And again, I share some great ideas with God. I don't know what his deal is because I'm like, God, this would just be great. What if this worked out this way, God? That would just be awesome. And then he does it a whole different way that much more creative, much more wise, right? Than I even imagined. But the thing is taking everything to him in prayer first. God, here's my financial situation. Help me. Give me wisdom. Show me what to do. And if he wants to give me money, that's fine. But I'm not praying it that way, right? So, but instead of getting all upset and worked up over something, and then going, oh, I guess I ought to pray. No, just pray first, right? Pray that whatever is imprisoning you will be broken off today. Pray whatever is keeping you in, maybe it's fear, maybe it's doubt, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's everything but peace, right? But begin to just take that to him first and then sit back in peace and go, I'm going to let you work it out, God. I'm just going to follow you. I'm just going to follow you and I'm just going to do what you say, and you'll find yourself on the outside of the prison. You'll find yourself when you give it to him in prayer, we'll find ourselves on the outside of what was holding us bound, no matter what that is, because we give it to him, take it as a first resort to prayer. And then you know what you can do? Leave it with him. Give him all your cares. That's what it says in Second Peter, right? Leave it with him. That's the trick. That's not the right word. All right. And then just walk in peace. Trust him. Follow him. If he leads a certain way, do it, whether it makes sense or not. Peter could have sat there going, I don't know you, angel. I don't know anything about you. Didn't tell me who you was. You didn't give me your name. You just show up in here. He could have sat there and missed out on a miracle because he didn't understand what was happening. But he followed the angel. And so we give it all to God in prayer and then just follow him. And what? Peace out. So peace out. Let prayer be our first resort, and leave the results up to him instead of us messing with them, right? That's the way we can peace out. So peace out. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the morning.